Yeah, you can get into the weeds with it a little bit.
That's so good. All right, we have made it to Fairhope Golf Works. This place is absolutely amazing. These are the owners, JT and Avery. JT's gonna be working with me on the swing side today. Avery's on the club side, but let's just get a little introduction of this place and kind of what people are gonna see today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fairhope Golf Works, we've been here coming up on 3 years. Avery and I decided to open this place up a couple years ago. Avery was on the road fitting, building clubs on tour for 20 plus years for the best players in the world. And my background's not nearly as impressive. I was just running golf clubs, but I've always had a passion for teaching. And the two of us kind of got hooked up together through a mutual friend, Scott Hamilton. And our big things are measure, don't guess. Avery uses GC Quad, Foresight. I use TrackMan, Gears 3D, and Swing Catalyst to really dive into a player's swing. You know, we really try to make sure that what we're doing is based off of factual data. And making that factual data and kind of the best and leading edge technology in the game available to your everyday player.
I'm super excited for today. You guys know how much I love when we get into the technical detail side of the golf swing, and so I'm here to bring you guys on that journey. So shout out to Fairhope Golf Works and JT and Avery here, because it's going to be a good time.
Great to have you here. Thank you.
Awesome.
So this will be fun.
Yep, let's get you suited up. Little more towards the balls of your feet that's set up too.
Really?
Yeah, so that, like you can see how little pressure there is back here. As you go into the top of the backswing and that right foot, this is gonna come back to like somewhere right in here.
Oh my.
Yeah, so you're kind of front loaded on that toe, which is interesting. So most of the time when I see early extension, you know, in the swing cat play, it's pretty new for me, but the way that I would identify this on gears is like I'll see players ask me about early extension a lot, you know, and whether their pelvis is moving half an inch or 3 inches towards the golf ball by the time they strike it. Most of the time what's happening is your body's actually trying to counterbalance itself.
Okay.
So players that early extend, a lot of the times they'll tend to set up on their heels, and so they're back, and then by the time they start into this backswing, they're kind of shifting forward like this.
Okay.
I don't see that as much with you. It's really interesting because you're a little more front loaded. You do a little bit of the opposite where you go into the back, right, and you're actually creating some space.
Yeah.
Most of early extension, the thing that people don't really talk about with early extension, if I go on YouTube right now and I type in how to fix early extension, you're gonna see a million videos saying, hey, here's what early extension is. You're coming down out of the top, the pelvis is moving forward, and you're thrusting up and out of the golf shot, right? What I find on gears, 90% of the time, if player's pelvis is 3 inches closer to the golf ball at impact, what's happening is they're actually getting there 2 to 2.5 inches of it happens as they're taking the club back.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with those balance points.
Yeah.
So again, we don't see that too much with you, but that's
Yeah.
an interesting little tidbit that
Yeah.
a lot of people think it's, and it certainly can be from impingements, lower cross syndrome, various limitations in the body, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think is overlooked when it comes to early extension is just the baseline, how am I balanced at setup?
Yeah.
So this is good data. Let's get a little bit more pressure data. I want to see kind of the consistency of this. So I want to see, we've got 2 or 3 gears captures with some good data. Let's do 2 or 3 more on the swing cat, and then we'll look at that in tandem with the TrackMan numbers and start to really parse out and see where things are at.
Sweet.
Some of the things that I look at really right out of the gate is I want to know where the low point is and the swing direction, and that kind of tells me what the rest of the swing is going to look like. So attack angle, -5.4, low points 4.3 inches after the golf ball. That's excellent. That's really about where we want to see it with a 7-iron.
Okay.
That gives us enough attack angle to create the spin, to get the ball up into the air. Your peak height's about 95, spin rate 6,000. So they did a pretty nice job fitting you out there at TPI. The big things today, let's look at the dispersion pattern here. Every single one of these balls is left of the center line to varying degrees. But we kind of know that this is the issue. The swing direction being this far left, obviously when we're trying to draw the golf ball, it's just a geometry problem. The path's got to be moving right. The face has to be right of the target, but left of the path for a draw, right?
Okay.
So we're not creating quite enough path to get this golf ball to do what we want it to do. Now, the relationship between the face and the path, your face to path is -2.7. So the good news is we want to hit a draw. It's just that it's drawing kind of on the wrong starting line.
Yeah, correct.
So to me, the way that I would identify this is we don't have as much of a face control path issue as we have a start line issue. Start line is wildly, wildly, wildly important. If you can control what the golf ball does for the first 10, 15 feet of flight, most of the time it's going to end up okay downrange.
That makes a lot of sense.
Here's how, let's kind of break this down so that we can define some of this stuff. So here's the reason that I start with low point. When we talk about swing direction is like this hula hoop. So that alignment stick at the bottom of that hula hoop, wherever my circle is pointed, that's my swing direction. Players will go to the range and think, I want to draw the golf ball. What have we been told for years is that I need to swing this club from in to out. And so they'll take their swing direction and they will dump it way out to the right. And then that's where we see really good players get stuck and the club kind of trapped behind them. When I get a player hitting a draw, what I like to do personally is I like to get the swing direction fairly close to neutral, so 0. Where last time you were here, you were at 5, 6.
Yeah.
Now we're at -4. We're going to have to bring it back the other way to get the swing direction 0. Because your low point's ahead like it's supposed to be, your path should end up 2 to 4 degrees out to the right.
That makes so much sense. Yeah.
So if we can get that swing direction to 0, then we can control the path with the low point and the strike rather than taking my swing and really feeling like
because that becomes a problem for me when I'm like, I think that I just have to swing more inside to out to try to get a draw, and that is
absolutely.
Actually, but it's like if you don't have the swing direction for it, then you're just gonna hurt yourself.
1000%. Yeah. Building your pattern out and starting to find ways to train yourself to these other, Dr. Scott Lynn calls it the Goldilocks drills, right? So you've got porridge that's too hot, too cold, and just right. Well, that's a great way to train your golf swing, is that I take it to one extreme, I take it to the other extreme so I can feel those things, and then I kind of know where I need to live in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of how your body's moving and how this is all going to relate. This pattern, I will say this is pretty unique from what I see and used to seeing on a daily basis. But again, we know that there's huge pressure coming up and out of the ground in that lead foot right there. So this 2 inches of pelvis sway through impact is not a bad thing. It's just it's kind of Micah's unique pattern, right?
Yeah, because I saw a video of Scotty the other day, and he had like 8 or 9.
Yeah,
which is
big
insane.
Time. So
like if I moved that far in front of the ball, I feel like I wouldn't be able to make contact with it because I'd be here.
Yeah, and you would. Yeah, the way that you leverage your hands and arms and drive your right elbow down, like so much, you're basically creating counter pressure so that you can leverage the club down in front.
Yeah.
As soon as we start sliding you, this pattern doesn't go away, right? So you end up with just a crazy amount of shaft lean.
Yeah.
Lag is really important, but I think lag is also very misunderstood. Lag to me has always been a product of proper sequencing and movement in the golf swing. Like there has to be a lot of other things that are going really well.
Yeah.
You get a lot of these guys who are 10, 15, 20 handicaps that they'll watch a video of Sergio Garcia and they're like, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Well, you and Sergio Garcia are swinging that driver at 120 miles an hour and they're swinging it at 80.
Yeah.
And so if that piece of equipment weighs the same, the amount of leverage that is going to be created in the downswing at these higher speeds, it's much easier to create these angles. I think it's really detrimental for the average player to go out there and if you're swinging your driver at 88 miles an hour to sit there and try to hold this angle all the way down into the ball, I mean, you just cause so many different problems, like you're saying from a timing perspective.
Yeah.
You've got a beautiful pattern. I think some of the things, the minor tweaks that I can see in the movement that I would like to make today is let's get the swing direction back to 0 so that with your low point, the path can move out to the right, and then we can hopefully start to get that ball starting further out to the right. Before we dive into making too many changes, let's hit some drivers.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of that same pattern that we were observing is this early load. You see your thrust move, or your pelvis moves back almost instantly. I don't think, and here again, my professional opinion is I don't think this is a direct cause for the ball flight issues that you're having right now.
Yeah.
If anything, early extension is a shallowing motion. We see a lot of players, and that's TPI talks about this a lot, is that when the pelvis moves forward and I stand up and out, I'm going to take that golf club and actually lay it down, right?
Yeah.
And so if we're having issues with the path moving left, for today's purposes, we can probably leave the early extension alone for a little bit and just kind of work the path.
Yeah.
Let's start with a drill. This is probably one of my all-time favorite drills. Anytime I'm having start line control issues, I like to take an alignment stick and just put it out in front of the station as like an intermediate target. All the technical stuff that we could possibly ever talk about and work through. Baseline is, can you start the ball on the right side of the stick, right? So rather than sitting here and trying to dump it more in and out, let's watch you hit a few shots and literally just try to start this ball and hit the right side of the screen. Good. So that was on the left side of it.
Yeah.
So the good news.
And that was me trying to start it on
Yeah.
the
So the good news is that your swing direction comes back pretty close to neutral. So your path there's almost 6 degrees to the right. The missing link right here is that face angle. There it is.
How is the path still 5 degrees? Is it because of the, I don't understand that.
So path being 5 degrees, we've taken the swing direction to basically 0. So this is kind of what I was talking about. Your swing as a whole now, on that swing in particular, is pointed basically straight at the target.
Right.
From there, because our low point is out in front of that golf ball, so if we were to take this hula hoop and literally model this swing out, it's going to look, so even though this alignment stick is pointed right at the target, you're catching this ball on this portion of the arc. So this club's moving down and into out, and that's how we're controlling your path there.
Okay.
So even though your swing direction is 0, the low point's forward, which means that the path is going to be to the right.
Yeah, okay.
That makes
sense, yeah.
So, and kind of like I was saying earlier, that's how I want a draw player to control the draw.
Yeah.
You should feel, I never want a player really feeling like they've got to dump this thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can, let's hit 3 of these in a row. See if we can repeat that shot. The perfect relationship that we're looking for here is a 2-to-1. So the swing prior was actually perfect. You had 5 degrees of path with 2.4 face.
Okay.
And so that was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
What is that? That was probably our 5th or 6th swing doing this drill. And immediately we took your swing direction from 4 degrees left to now we're
like
dead
almost,
0, right? Basically every single time. We're seeing the path do what we want it to do. I always like to get the path first and then we start to work on the face. One thing that we can do to get this face doing what we want it to is kind of what I was talking about with Dr. Scott Lynn earlier, is this Goldilocks principle. Hit a couple where it's too far, right? So leave it way too far open. Hit some blocks, and then I want you to feel like at the same time, we'll hit 3 trying to block them, and then we'll hit 3 trying to get them to really hook.
Okay.
And then we're going to try to find the middle.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and again, we see the swing directions nice and consistent. Again, negative 0.6, that's close enough to 0. We can call it 0. Path 4.2, but now we've kind of stretched out this relationship. Face is 3.9, so that ball still draws, but now we've got one on the right side of the target line.
Yeah.
Swing direction is a big deal. Yeah. I think, in shaping shots, you see a lot of players trying to shape shots. It's one thing to control the path, but understanding what it is that's controlling the path. The club path isn't just this, I take my swing and I just go like this. And yes, my path will change, but there's a lot of other variables that are changing too. How can we control the variables to change the least amount possible? And then again, I really like to drive the path of the club with the lowest point of the swing, which we can do really easily if that swing direction's pretty close to 0.
Yeah. And this was like an instant swing direction fix, I guess.
Yeah.
And is that kind of like a normal thing?
Yes. So it's really a perspective shift.
Yeah.
When you can stand behind this, we know that this ball, this alignment stick, and the target are all in a nice straight line. Yet when you stand over that golf ball, so go ahead and address your golf ball, this and this no longer align.
No,
right?
it feels like I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I tell you start one on the right side of the stick, it feels like you're way out here.
Oh, for sure.
And truthfully, that's the line that your eyes are on.
Yeah.
Right. And so that feel versus real. This is your perspective is huge. What your eyes are telling you is that when your eyes get offset to the line, it's kind of like if you've ever shot guns much, you zero a scope, right?
Yeah.
If I zero my scope for 100 yards, right, but then I take a shot at 150 or 200, I've got to account for the bullet drop. So So this is a little bit different, but you got to think about your eyes are on top of the scope, right?
Yeah.
This is the barrel of the gun, and my
Yeah.
eyes are over here. You know, and that's why it's so important. You see guys like Jack Nicklaus talking about how important it is to pick an intermediate target.
Yeah.
Right? I do that in my own game. I've heard guys picking targets 3-4 feet out in front. I've never been able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But I'll usually pick something about like where that black dot is.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if I truly take the time to line it up, I'm not thinking about starting it right of the target. I'm thinking like start it just a hair right of that black dot.
Yeah.
And that helps me to really kind of bring it into an area that I can
Yeah.
kind of introduce some control.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where sometimes it's starting to make sense in my brain of like when I get over a shot, even like a drive, and I have these shots where I'm wanting to hit a stock shot, but then I get over it and I'll hit like something, even with an iron sometimes it'll just be like, it'll go really far right.
Yeah.
And it's probably because what I'm looking at here is like what I think I'm starting right, I'm still actually probably starting straight or left.
Yeah. That's beautiful. This looks really, really good. I mean, you're hitting some great golf shots now.
So what causes a swing direction to go way left or way right?
It could be any number of things. So I would say the biggest thing is that if you start trying to take your path and really manipulate your path out to the right, then your swing direction is going to go with it.
Okay.
And then if your low point's not in check, then you're going to cause yourself some issues.
Yeah.
Let's see one more. That's going to be money. Yeah, and so here's the other thing that's really interesting too is your swing direction again has really stayed pretty damn close to zero. What we can see a relationship here now. So 4.7 inches is one of the most aggressive low points that you've had so far, and then your path goes even further out, right? But your path is getting further out to the right without me telling you to swing it to the right. I'm actually telling you to swing it straighter at the target, and then that low point's out in front, and that's making that path go out to the right.
Yeah, that's a lot. But see, right here, I'm geeking out. Like this is what I want to see.
Yeah, you can get into the weeds with
Yeah.
it a little bit. You know, I try to keep it as simple as possible, but at the same time, I want the player to understand what we're looking at and why we're doing it that way, right?
Yeah.
If we want to keep it as simple without all the extra wording, is we've kept your swing direction at zero and figured out a way to get your path to the right using a different metric rather than just blasting this club out to the right.
Totally.
Yeah. Understanding what you're trying to accomplish in practice is really, really important. It's too easy to just go and kind of like hit a few 7-irons to this flag, and then you hit your wedge to that flag, and then beat a couple drivers. It's like, okay, let's go play. But if you can block out some practice where you set up a station and say, okay, I need to go to the range today and work on my start line. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And now we have tools to do that.
Yeah, that's so good. All right, so we're gonna go through some drivers real quick, and then we're probably gonna get close to wrapping this thing up. But this has been so eye-opening. I'm sure there's just so much here, but you need to go back and watch this video again because I think that everybody can learn something. But this is really cool for me because I feel like the more you understand how the club moves and then the kind of mechanics of the golf swing, I think that it can just, for me, it helps to like start to eliminate some of the variables of questions, and I think that that's just the way my brain works. But
I don't want you to really think about anything. I just want you to do what feels natural right now. Just try to hit your driver as well as you possibly can. When you say you like to hit draws with a driver, how much are you wanting to see this ball curve?
I mean, I hate seeing it curve a lot, and the only reason that I hit draws is because I can't hit a fade. If I could hit a fade, then I would rather hit a fade.
Really?
Yeah, I don't mind drawing with my irons, but when I hit draws with my driver, unless I'm hitting it really good, I have very little control. And so sometimes I'll be like, I just want to fade the ball because I feel like I have more control of it, but I can't do it. I can't hit a fade.
We can do it. It's geometry. We can make it happen. I want you to show me a couple and we'll measure it on gears.
Trying to hit a fade?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's a block. That's the problem.
For you to not be able to hit the fade at all, I think is a little bit of a problem. Not necessarily from a playing standpoint, but from a standpoint of when you're practicing, you don't have anything that you can do in countering to keep you neutral.
Yeah.
Right? So that I think is a big piece of the puzzle. Let's start with this. I want you to aim left fairly substantially. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our path and our start line in check. So ingredient number one is we need the ball to start to the left. So I'm actually going to pull this stick back out too. You can double cross it. You can, I just want to see this golf ball hit the left side of the screen. Good. So not bad here. Swing direction, -5-3. Low point was very, very close to the ball. So your attack angle is only 1/10 of a degree up, but your path is 5 degrees left. So we just created ingredient number 1, and you hit it really solid, right?
Yeah. The low point was like right at the ball.
Yes.
So it's like I need to feel like a little more.
You could hang back on it a touch. The problem is that the more you go this way, the more the club's going to go that way.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it just yet.
Okay.
We'll kind of come back to the low point. Let's keep the path nailed down. Good. So this one's going to go a little further left.
Yep.
Good. Now, really the only missing ingredient here is we just have to get the face pointed in the right direction. And we'll get, efficiency is another thing, right?
Yeah.
Attack angle, we're going to attribute more to efficiency right now.
Yeah.
But let's get this ball curving back to the center line. So now we've got the path. The path is bending it. The face sends it, right? So we need this ball. You're starting these balls pretty far to the left. I want you to feel like you're just opening up that face just a hair. You're going to make basically the same exact swing and feel like you hold it off just a touch longer. Very close, -4-7 with a face of -5.
No, so that's close.
I want to see like an absolute, we're going to do all the same things, but I want to see you hold the face off enough to just show me like a banana ball. I want to see this thing off the planet right. Bang, bang.
I did it. That's crazy.
So path there goes a little too far left, -9-3.
Yeah.
Face 5-4, 3,600 spin, total 297. It's not that bad, but obviously we could be a little more efficient here. But we have created a relationship for this path. So this is actually, again, pretty close to this 2-to-1 relationship. Now, I would not recommend this for a gamer, right?
Yeah.
But as you get more we've basically just created the basis for you to be able to go out and hit fades.
Yeah.
And so as you get more comfortable with this, you're going to be able to tighten these tolerances. You're going to develop feel, control, and awareness for where that club face is, just on the basis of like, okay, what does it feel like the club head's doing through the ball?
Yeah.
For the long-term health of your game, even if you never once have any intention of hitting a fade on a golf course, for you to go out and practice this is going to keep things, again, practicing with the Goldilocks principles. If I want to be here, can I get here and here?
Yeah.
And really kind of max it out both ways. And then it makes it so much easier to identify the middle ground.
Yeah. Dude, what a day.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. That is incredible.
Absolutely.
Dude, shout out to Fairhope Golf Works. Everything is in the description. What is the best way for them to get in contact with you? Just you have the website, Instagram.
Yeah, so our website is just www.fairhopegolfworks.com. Our Instagram is Fairhope Golf Works or at Fairhope Golf Works. We're on TikTok at Fairhope Golf Works. And then you can find us on Facebook as well.
Yeah. And all that's linked in the top of the description, so make sure and check them out. Club fitting lessons, they're pretty booked out, so if you want to get something, you better book it now.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you.